Omaha Steaks gourmet holiday gifts make life easier and a whole lot more delicious. Omaha Steaks is a great limited-time offer. You get 28 favorites that are guaranteed to thrill for only $49.95. That is a $195 value. Go to omahasteaks.com, type fantasy in the search bar, and add the family gift package to your cart. That's omahasteaks.com, code fantasy. Don't wait. Order today.
Hey, this is David Johnson, running back of the Arizona Cardinals, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in.
Whoa!
It's Friday, Mike.
That one was hot.
I never know what volume level I'm going to be at until it happens. So I apologize to everybody who can't handle it.
No, that was an 11, though. That was amazing.
I mean, you not knowing your own volume speaks straight to my heart. I feel like I never know what is about to come out of my mouth.
I'm having trouble controlling the volume of my voice.
Or what has already come out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, it fits that we do not know, because who knew what was going to happen last night? I mean, what a surprising game. I remember asking on the show, I said, do you believe it's possible that the Cowboys can steal this game? And I believe you said, no, it is not possible. But football makes all things possible, because you just, you have 11 on 11. And sometimes, I mean, that Dallas defense last night, it showed.
They were legit, and that was...
I feel like they found the cheat code on Drew Brees. I really do. They got interior pressure on him. He couldn't step up in the pocket.
It wasn't just Drew Brees, though. It was the running game as well. I mean, Kamara and Ingram were both incredibly inefficient, unable to get any big plays going. The timing of that performance sucks for fantasy.
People trying to get in, make the playoffs.
You rode those guys, Kamara, Brees, Michael Thomas, and you should have played Kirkwood.
Well, in fairness.
I think the timing might be better than you think. Because if you rode those guys, maybe you're in, and maybe you're not. Now, you're scared because you didn't think this was possible.
Yeah, much better this week than next week.
But it's not the fantasy playoffs for most people.
Fair.
Yeah, the best play of the game for the Saints, obviously the touchdown, was the Traquan Smith deep target that Keith Kirkwood stole and got the touchdown.
If I played in the NFL,
heck yeah.
That's not a bad strategy. If you were a low-level wide receiver and
you're just running after Antonio Brown,
you know that they're going to send Brown on a 9 route. Just
I'm going there too.
I happen to run my route right in front of you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, it was I believe it was the lowest yards for the Saints since 2001.
Wow.
That's also probably, I mean, Traquan Smith has to be in the annals of hate for fantasy owners, because this is the second time that people have started him.
Yeah.
And last night you probably forced him in your lineup with the fact he was active and
off the injury report,
and this would have been the second time that people played him and got a goose, a full-on 0.
Oof.
So, look, some takeaways from last night's game, fantasy-wise. Jason and I were looking at this in the office. He was reading the snap counts for me. Benjamin Watson's been phased out of this offense in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Josh Hill's out there blocking on 70% of snaps. Benjamin Watson's snap counts down to the 30s. And, Dan Arnold.
The postman?
Yeah, the postman himself.
He almost delivered.
He did. He almost had a touchdown up the seam and then fumbled. And then they wasted maybe you could argue they wasted their challenge there. And they could have used the challenge on the Beasley play at the end of the game.
They definitely could have.
But I think Arnold's interesting. I think you can look at him because they're targeting him intentionally. And when you have an emerging player, I don't know. He'd be interesting to look at.
Nope, don't hate it.
Zeke, 23 for 76. Didn't get a lot going on the ground, but the Saints have been great against the run. But in the passing game, 6 for 60 and a touchdown.
All the fantasy owners both happy and so angry that at the end of the game on the first and goal from the 1 yard line, because of the poor clock management, the rarity from Sean Payton that they kneeled it out and Zeke was denied that final touchdown.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, look, he didn't have the game that you were hoping for, but
He was fine.
He was very good. I mean, 8 for 75, the clear-cut number one, and, this is where I was afraid because it's Amari Cooper that is he going to go out there and have a 2 for
This is
14?
a new Cooper.
It
This
is
a new man.
It is, and I think you can trust Amari Cooper right now.
Yeah, I agree. Not a great game from, Dak in terms of fantasy production. Not a great game from Breeze, obviously. Breeze, Kamara, Ingram, Thomas. Kamara saved you in a PPR, eight receptions, obviously. But it was an off game for the Saints all the way through. It's tough, but we move on. It's Friday.
Footclan Friday.
All right, today's Footclan Friday winner is Frank Overland. Frank.
Oh, Frank!
Thank you so much for supporting the show at jointhefoot.com. It's where over 7,000 listeners support this podcast, this independent fantasy football year-round podcast.
Keep it powered up.
And we give him a
Oh!
$55.
Not even a mouthful of water
I was
can
going to
stop
say,
me.
Mike was mid-drink, and he didn't even bother swallowing before he let the 55
Nope,
go.
I just pooled it in the bottom of my mouth.
Last night was all about 55, Mr. Van Der Esch.
Van Der Esch. Where are they going to put
Sean
Sean
Lee?
Lee when he comes back? I mean,
yeah,
On the
Jalen
back.
Smith and-
If you play him on the back of Van Der Esch,
not on the back.
you can
You just put him right on his neck.
because,
Of
he's
Von
got
Van
the
Der Esch.
protection.
That neck is amazing.
you're really into his neck.
Look, there's not many necks that I've seen.
Well, just imagine how
like that.
tall he would be if he's riding chicken up on the shoulders. I mean, the swatted balls, there's no deep balls.
Well,
Just
you can
bat him down.
The rule is you can play as many people on the shoulders of another. It counts as one person. It's the old trench coat rule.
Two feet on the ground.
You have
The
to have
rule.
the trench coat on, though. I mean, that is
For sure. Otherwise,
is part of
you
it.
can tell it's 2. Look how tall Sean Lee is.
with the legs of Van Der Esch. Twitter.com/the Fantasy Footballers. Follow us on there. We're on YouTube, Instagram. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. We appreciate your reviews. And we're going to get back into, we'll get into in and out. We'll talk through some of the injuries for your fantasy teams, and then we'll get into the rest of the fantasy forecast. Got my almost upset on the show today. We've got Daily Dose. It'll be a wonderful Friday.
Oh.
Let's talk injuries.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
All right, let's fly through these. In or out, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, speaking of flying through them, he was limited on Thursday. I think he'll sit one more. But also, who cares?
I agree.
Running backs, Gus Edwards.
He returned to practice, so he's on track to play. Him and Alex Collins will both play.
Marlon Mack.
Actually a full participant in the concussion protocol, so trending upwards.
Carry on.
No.
No, Carrion's out. But the Marlon Mack news is pretty big. If he was full participant, I mean, he should be cleared.
Do you like him, though? Because we talked a little bit about the difficulty of traveling, Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's not the best matchup, but if he's a full participant, I think he continues the pace he's been on, and yeah, he's all right.
For the YouTubers, I can't stop chuckling over here because Jason's fresh off of a hefty workout where he worked him to the bone and a hot shower, and his glasses
Oh, I'll just keep fogging up
so
forever.
foggy. I can't handle it.
Why don't you do the tip of your nose? You look really smart.
Oh yeah, the
librarian.
Does they still fog up? You give off that much heat?
dude, I run hot.
You're like a class 3 star.
Yeah, I am.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't
All right,
either.
I have no idea.
I thought there was
just
some
sounded like a thing you'd
some
say.
scientific term I didn't know of.
No. He's a red giant. That's what he is.
There you go.
There you go. You look both smart and stupid at the same time.
That's kind of my cup of tea.
That is your wheelhouse. Oh, wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, in or out? Did not practice Wednesday or Thursday, but
He's expected to play. I think he's going to be in.
T.Y. Hilton?
He was expected to play and said he was going to play a couple weeks ago and did not. So be prepared. Hilton, I think, will play.
Emmanuel Sanders?
He will play.
AJ Green?
One's
In or out?
I'm gonna go out. I think most people are going in.
He's trending in limited practice Wednesday and Thursday.
What's your call?
Yeah,
Mike?
what's your in or out?
In.
Marquise Goodwin?
Real quick, what's your call on that, Andy?
In.
Okay.
Marquise Goodwin, in or out?
It's weird. It's a personal. I tried to find more information on this. There's some personal reason he was given last week off. I assumed there had been, usually this is like there's a death in the family, you go to take care, something like this, and I can't find any information. But to have a multi-week personal reason,
Yeah, hopefully
I think
everything's all right.
I would have to imagine out.
Dealing with family matters again,
Yeah.
excused from practice. Devin Funchess, Curtis Samuel, both could affect DJ Moore. Yeah. DJ Moore playing the hits.
Oh! Why is that DJ? That was
me.
Lamar Miller. Don't steal my riff. Get out of here.
Look, he's a very limited DJ. He's got a couple that he plays.
I think Devin Funchess and Curtis Samuel will both be in.
Agreed.
He plays that and just all Phil Collins. The rest is Phil Collins.
Look, I'm cool with Phil Collins. Any Phil. Little Susu Studio.
Sammy Watkins. Peter Gabriel, too. He plays a little Peter
Oh,
Gabriel.
yeah. You're talking about my jams right now.
I know. Sammy Watkins, foot injury, did not practice Wednesday, Thursday. In or out?
Out.
Calvin Ridley, in or out?
In.
Kiki QT, in or out?
In, but you do not play him.
In for 1 quarter.
Yeah, do not play him.
Oh.
Multiple hamstring injuries in a season. No good.
How many hamstrings does he have?
Multiples.
Yeah. He's got a lot.
At least 2.
Randall Cobb.
Hey! All right.
He believes he's going to return, and I think he will. I think he's in on Sunday.
Cool.
It's actually
Does this help? Does this finally help Aaron Rodgers?
It's the only person it could help.
It
Doesn't
could help
doesn't
Randall
well.
Cobb.
Rodgers really needs to help himself. I can't recall who it was, but someone on Twitter was breaking down film of Aaron Rodgers. He's been playing sloppy mechanics.
It seems like it's one of those situations where, the less confidence you have in your receiving core, the less confidence you have in your receiving
Just
core.
don't care.
Do you
It's
think
just self-replicating.
He's morphing into Jay Cutler.
I've heard that reference.
Don't care.
I've heard that reference. He's got that demeanor, that don't care demeanor. And I was like, is this one of those things where he knows if he plays well, Mike
still lose?
McCarthy sticks around?
Ooh.
It's like, I got to go out there and give it a solid 30%.
He's got a little bit of the LeBron situation.
What's that?
Well, just
LeBron gives it all.
LeBron gives it all, but he kind of runs things. And
I see
LeBron,
what
it's happening right now with head coach Luke Walton, where LeBron doesn't look to the bench.
Head coach LeBron?
Head coach LeBron. Like Luke Walton just lets him call the game because what are you going to do?
I would.
I would too.
That's called being a good
that
coach.
guy's better than me.
Well, and that's where McCarthy.
Who's gonna coach?
Yeah,
LeBron?
if I was McCarthy, I'd say, all right, Rodgers, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then in the
You
media.
think Peyton Manning wasn't the offensive coordinator everywhere he was?
But then in the media, you blow it up. You're like, Aaron Rodgers has proven so much. We're actually upping his responsibility. We're giving him full autonomy to call plays. And then when things fall apart, you just point. Like Aaron Rodgers' fault.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's going to save McCarthy.
Danny Amendola, in or out?
Did not practice
Out.
Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going out.
Evan Ingram.
Out.
I think he's going to be out for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Without further ado, let's hop into the forecast.
Fantasy Forecast.
Well, the 8-3 Bears travel to New York to take on the 3-8 Giants. Huh.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
Mrs. Daniel is really upset with you right now.
Yeah, I just
Picking on her boy.
This was not my Brooks. You can attest to this. This is not the one I told you to pick out for me. But the heart wants what the heart wants. And the Giants are 4-point underdogs at home against Chase Daniel and the
They've been playing
Bears.
well.
They've been playing well. They almost beat Philly last week. They're gonna break through. Like Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon will do enough on off. Like 21-20.
So
that's the final score.
So almost beating Philly. And Philly has been bad for weeks.
Yeah, but they almost
That gives you the confidence that they're going to beat the 8-3 Bears, who have been outstanding.
Almost beat.
Yeah, it's a
I
plus.
get okay,
Yeah,
almost.
almost upset. 21-20.
All right.
I don't know who's on top. 21-20. 44.5 point over-under. Chase Daniel back at quarterback for the Chicago Bears. That depletes your confidence in pretty much everybody on the Bears offense. Not because Chase Daniel's incapable. Don't get me wrong, Bears fans. He's fine.
But he's a backup.
But he's a backup, and you just don't know where his, who he favors, what the game plan's going to be. The head coach is probably going to go out there, Matt Nagy, smart guy. He's going to figure out where to exploit the Giants' defense, and he's going to do it. And you just don't have as much confidence in Allen Robinson being that guy, or Anthony Miller, or Taylor Gabriel. It'll probably be one of them.
They are exploitable at the running back position. 25th against fantasy running backs
Cohen
on the season in the last 6 weeks, and that's what I was going to bring up, because I'm not talking about Jordan Howard. I'm not inflating those tires anymore. They're done. They're ragged. There's nails in them. I don't – no. But Tariq Cohen is incredibly interesting. Jason, Jordan Howard fanboy. How's it going over there?
It's not going well, Mike. Jordan Howard.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. Put it this way. I have a very important dynasty matchup this week against you, Mike, and I have Jordan Howard on my team.
Are you happy about that?
I am not happy. He is currently not in my roster. So, Footclan, these are two players that.
Wait, he's not in your lineup?
As of right now, I have Theo Riddick and Dion Lewis ahead in the lineup over Jordan Howard. I am debating it, but I am not happy.
Wow.
What is going on over here?
Andy is just staring
Andy and
down
Brooks as well.
I'm getting the stink eye from Andy.
Is this for the matchup or Jordan Howard related?
Maybe Tariq Cohen related.
Brooks has Cohen?
Got Tariq Cohen, and he's the one player I like from that offense this week. And I just want you to know I disapprove of the fact you have him and are playing him.
I smirked and perked up when you said that.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why you got the stink eye. Eli Manning, Saquon Barkley, Odell Beckham and company. Look, Barkley and Beckham, they're always in. How do you feel about Sterling Shepard against the Bears?
No.
Not good. And then Rhett Ellison?
He would have sneaky appeal
If it wasn't the Bears.
if it wasn't the Bears, who are very strong against fantasy tight ends.
Did you guys – I was staring Brooks down for a long period of time. Did you guys talk about Trey Boo-Boo at all?
Nope.
Do people just try not to talk about him right now? Is
Yes.
it just kind of like hold your nose and play him?
He's
Yeah.
like he's like a family member that you try not to talk about, right?
But they have to come to Thanksgiving.
yeah, but they're there.
They'll be there.
Yeah.
And, he's a back-end tight end one. I mean, if you look at we have a one-game sample with Chase Daniel playing last Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, also known as last week. And you had Burton with 4 receptions, which was more than Allen Robinson. Taylor Gabriel was really seemingly the primary target. He had 7 for 49. I don't know who you could possibly trust. It's not an issue. You said it well, Andy. It's not that Chase Daniel's bad. It's that you don't know who you could trust in such an important week to actually start anybody.
And his floor, because he's a backup, is low. So there is a world where he just can't do anything on offense. I mean, it started that way last week. It did not look good for Chicago. He found it, but there's still a world where they score 3 points.
Who's a better defense, the Detroit Lions or the New York Giants?
This week?
The Giants.
Just in general, because they played the Lions last week.
The Giants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In my ox. Little shout out to Matty P. The 6-5 Panthers take on the 4-7 Buccaneers. Now we're going to talk about that matchup momentarily.
But before we do, we want to thank today's sponsor, Pristine Auction, the best sports memorabilia website in all of humanity and known existence.
I've been learning a lot about the universe. It's very big, and this is still the best website.
So yeah, when it comes to memorabilia,
Yeah.
Class 10-star.
you you are correct. On the wall right now, my man, Mr. Nasty, Kareem Hunt, signed by the hands of Kareem Hunt. What?
Well, you don't know that for sure, right?
Yes, I do, because they use the best authenticators in the business
Oh.
at Pristine Auction.
Andy's saying he could have used like
His
pin
feet.
in the
He
mouth.
could have used his feet.
He probably has the skills. I've seen his football ability. I would not doubt his ability to sign with his foot.
Yeah, it could be.
But there's deals on there. There's hundreds of new things on Pristine Auction every single day. It's the place to go for a really special, unique gift this holiday season. PRISTINEauction.com. When you make that completely free count, you let them know that the Fantasy Footballers sent you.
Yeah, and we want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's show. Look, let HelloFresh take the guesswork out of meals week after week after week. They have 3 different plans that you could choose from, a classic or a veggie or a family, to make sure it's food that you like, that you enjoy. You don't have to plan dinner.
I had a HelloFresh last night.
There you go. Spend money on takeout. That's a way to ruin your budget.
Yeah.
Worrying about gathering ingredients and all that stuff. Get back more time to do what you love, because HelloFresh is easy to follow recipes. They're pre-measured, responsibly obtained ingredients. They're delivered right to your door, all for less than $10 per serving with free shipping. And don't worry, you're not going to spend all night in the kitchen. It only takes around 30 minutes for each one. It's easy to manage. We've all used it. For a total of $60 off, that's $20 off your first 3 boxes. Visit HelloFresh.com/footballers60 and enter the code footballers60. It's like receiving 6 meals free when you go to HelloFresh.com/footballers60 and enter code footballers60.
All right, the 6-5 Panthers travel to Tampa to take on the 4-7 Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 3.5-point home underdogs. This game's over-under is 54.5. From what I understand, that rounds up. That is look, it's a great line. It's a great game. You're starting Cam Newton. You're starting Jameis
No, you are
Winston.
booty scooting for sure.
You are booty scooting. You are starting Christian McCaffrey. You're starting.
DJ Moore is my start of the week at wide receiver.
DJ Moore himself.
Wicka, wicka.
Greg Olsen.
Oh, no.
Greg
Oh, no. We did not go to the wicka sound effect.
He is a budget wedding DJ. Just for the record.
I do my own beatboxing.
No, you are the wedding DJ.
Wow. That's you DJing and you heaving sounds very similar.
All I know is when I DJ, my glasses fall. This is a fact.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Because you bring the heat.
He's a red giant. Goodness gracious. You ever been at a wedding where the DJ tries to be a little too involved?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a good
worst.
DJ fades into the background. A bad DJ wants to get everybody going.
It's his show.
It's his show.
His family comes to these weddings. It's like,
To watch him DJ.
To watch him DJ.
I think you would do that, Jason.
Oh, you're darn right I would. Oh,
Come
man.
see DJ
I
Moore
can't
at the
see anything.
part of He's fully fogged over.
Go to the Jason
Go to the
camp.
JC camp.
Just full fog.
How do you build heat over time after working out? It's been an hour and a half.
I think I moved up to a class 4.
Oh, my goodness. This man.
I can see better without glasses.
I mean,
right
it's
now.
it's cold in this room.
Yes, it
It's
is.
62 degrees in here, and you're on fire. You're covered in sweat, man.
Yeah. Well,
You're an amazing
Did you have
man.
a steak?
I worked hard. I worked hard at the gym trying to get it fit,
your
get
body's-
right.
But wasn't that like 2 hours ago?
It was a minute ago, yeah.
Oh,
All
my
right,
goodness. All right, Mike Evans, he's in.
Yep.
What do you think of Peyton Barber in this matchup against Carolina? This is, a 55-point over-under. The Panthers' defense, the only shining spot has been against the running back position. Peyton Barber's been tough to trust, but he's given you surprising games. How do you feel about Peyton Barber? He was 11 for 31 against the same Carolina defense in Week 9.
Yeah, I don't love Barber here. I realize it's a huge over-under, and they're at home. Usually those two things stack up well. The matchup isn't that great. I think this turns into more of a shootout. Now, you can start him. He's got back-to-back 18-carry weeks. They're clearly going to give him the ball, but I'm not excited. I don't think his upside is I don't think he's got the potential to be a top 15 back.
If you had Peyton Barber on your dynasty team, would you be playing him over Jordan Howard?
Yes, I would. I would 100% be playing Peyton Barber over Jordan.
Volume?
Yeah, it's just it's a lot of things.
At some point, Brooks, maybe in the offseason, we need to do a dynasty segment of players gone wrong, because the perception of certain players in dynasty at the beginning of this year and what you thought you had for the next 10 years and what you actually have,
Yeah.
It's like bait and switch. That's what we'll call the segment. Bait and switch.
You know who Jordan Howard is? Bitcoin.
So he's going to come back?
I thought you were going to say Eddie Lacy.
No, Jordan Howard.
Bitcoin.
The bubble bursts.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
it's a problem.
You thought you had something.
These two teams played each other in Week 9. Carolina won 42-28, but Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 4 touchdowns against this defense. Winston, you got to start him this week.
Yep.
If Deshaun Jackson is out, which we do not know, I mean, he's been practicing.
But not catching footballs.
Yeah, he's not catching the ball while he practices. He's got a brace on his hand, much like the Jimmy Graham brace. If he was out of the way, it'd be a lot easier to project Humphreys and Godwin, but you can probably look at them if you need a dart throw regardless.
I agree. I think Humphreys and Godwin, even if Deshaun Jackson is out there, I'm willing to start them. I mean, the Panthers have not been great against wide receivers. They're 23rd on the year, 23rd in the last 6 weeks. And there's going to be a lot of yards thrown around here, and and I love Cameron Brate as well because I've brought this up. The Panthers are the worst in the league, or among the worst in the league against the tight end position. So that obviously all of those things factor into Jameis.
Yep.
Jameis right now is a top 5 quarterback this week.
Something else to mention. I mean, we brought him up early in the week, maybe Tuesday. Curtis Samuel. He plays 92% out of the slot, and Tampa gives up the most points to slot wide receivers. So keep him in mind. If Funchess is out,
yeah, I was just going to say
Curtis Samuel, if he's healthy, he's very sneaky.
It's all about Funchess. I mean, Curtis Samuel, I was considering making him my start of the week over DJ Moore just as a deeper option.
Right.
But when you really look at his game log, his snap counts, when Funchess has gone out, put it this way, 2 weeks ago, his snap count was 27%, 33%, 27%. This last week was 91%. If he's on the field that much, he's great.
You can also play Cameron Brate.
Yep.
Start of the week.
The 9-2 Chiefs take on the 2-9 Raiders in Oakland. The game is a 14.5 point. The Raiders are 14.5 point home underdogs. The game line is 55.5. You round down. That's 55 point
You're
over
wearing me
under.
out over here.
Hey, look, the numbers are the numbers, Mike.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
The rest is up to him. Patrick Mahomes and company travel to Oakland. Look, this is one of those games that you look at and you say you think you know how the math translates. Are you going to be surprised in any way, shape, or form, or does Patrick Mahomes go on the road with his gang and rob them clean?
Yeah, the Chiefs posse it's fantastic. You want everything about this matchup.
Who's a peripheral wideout to start
Yes.
if Sammy's out?
That's where I wanted to talk about.
Well, let's do it.
Chris Conley had, I don't know for sure, but I believe that was the best game of his career.
Yeah.
8 targets turned into 7 for 74, 2 touchdowns. Jason's shaking his head like you're not.
I'm off limits.
You're not
no
interested?
way. I'm not in the slightest bit interested. Chris Conley is let me ask you this. Is there a chance, like last week or the last time the Chiefs played in this game against the Raiders, that they will also score more than 100 points in the game?
Yes,
because
the Raiders will not keep up.
Right, and that's why Chris Conley, I mean, is his next best game on the season. He had 6 targets for 4 receptions for 13 yards as far as his biggest volume. I'm not chasing the 100-point Los Angeles Rams game, even if Sammy's out.
Oakland.
They just don't need him. Tyreek Hill will torch him. Kareem Hunt will torch him. Travis Kelce will torch him. And Chris Conley won't be needed.
The Oakland Raiders are allowing the most points at home in the entire league, 34 points a game at home. This is going to be very, very sad for Oakland fans.
Gruden's going to love it.
Last 2 games for Kareem Hunt against Oakland.
I've got a plan.
Last 2 games against Oakland in general on the ground. Gus Bus, 118 rushing yards. David Johnson, 154 rushing yards. Kareem Hunt, you start him up. Tyreek Hill, he's dominating right now, so we don't really have to linger on the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, by the way, 35% of Chiefs drives ending in a Mahomes touchdown right now.
Crazy.
Yeah,
They said it on this show last night on the Thursday night game. They mentioned out loud. They said Mahomes, 37 touchdowns, and then I just thought about that. He has 37 touchdowns.
Wait, is that true?
Yes.
He has 37.
Yeah,
See, when you hear it,
That's insane. We're in week 13.
I just heard JJ, good friend of the show, JJ Zachariason, was talking about it, that if he keeps going, he will finish at the second highest touchdown rate for a quarterback with over 200 attempts, behind only Peyton Manning.
as far as percentage of throws?
Percentage of attempts that turn into a touchdown. So this is territory that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and even when during the illustrious career of Peyton Manning, he had multiple years where he was up in the 50 touchdown range on the course of a season, but it didn't repeat each and every year. So you can't count on the touchdown percentage to repeat. But he is a different kind of player doing different kinds of things with different kind of weapon.
Now, here's the questions that I have. On the other side of the ball, the Raiders at home are going to have to try to keep up. And there are, I mean, you know, Andy, you've talked about your dynasty wide receiver issues. Someone has to do something, right? Whether it's Marcel Aitman or Jordy Nelson or Seth Roberts. You know, Jordy had good games before he went down with an injury.
Yeah, I don't think he's
back.
Yeah, he's back.
Isn't he practicing in full?
Wink, wink. Yeah, I don't care if he's even practicing in full. I just don't think that he's fully back.
You're right, though. I mean, Jared Cook is the guy that you can at least look at and say, all right, well, he's going to catch 3 to 5 passes at least.
Jalen Richard as well. And look, I
Jalen Richard stunk last week, though.
Yes.
Stunk.
Jalen Richard stunk last week.
Stunk.
But that was against Baltimore, and I would expect that. The week prior, 11 for 61 against Arizona.
I'm not off of Richard just because of the one game.
I am. Because
Now, I would rather play Doug Martin. I mean, there's the narrative where it's like, well, Jalen Richard's pass-catching back and Doug Martin, you know, they're going to be down. But Doug Martin is clearly the primary back, and he's still been involved in the passing game as well. So Doug Martin, I think, is an okay start.
I just lost confidence in Richard. I mean, the target should have been there. The opportunity should have been there. He didn't even he didn't get any opportunities to fail against Baltimore. That's my problem. The Jets, 3-8, take on the 5-6 Titans. The Titans are 8-point home favorites. It's 40.5-point over-under. Talked about Sam Darnold, whether he'll be active or not, but this is a game where you really, really have to pick your spots on who to start on either side of the ball. I want to start with Tennessee. Is Deion Lewis a flex play, and is Corey Davis an established wide receiver 2 right now?
I think that Lewis is a strong flex play. The Jets are 28th against fantasy running backs in the past 6 weeks. They've been going downhill for the Jets recently. Maybe that's because of Sam Darnold's absence. Maybe it's just because the team's not strong enough yet. I think that Lewis is in play with the volume that he should receive with, Jets 8-point favorites at home against a bad defense.
You're saying the Titans are 8-point favorites.
Yes, did I say Jack? I apologize. The Titans, 8-point favorites at home. That's the recipe that you want with your running back.
Yeah, large home favorite.
Yeah.
Now, is there a chance that it becomes more of a Derrick Henry game because of that?
I don't think so.
Derrick Henry is always he's always got a chance at scoring a touchdown, and that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
That fumble last week by Derrick Henry destroyed people's souls, by the way.
Yes, it did.
Not because they were starting Derrick Henry, but because the Houston defense ended up picking up 2 points and winning the matchup. Would you rather start Jonnu Smith, who has a touchdown in 3 of his last 4 games, or would you rather start Chris Herndon, who's averaged 45 yards per game over the last 6 weeks? The 2 tight ends in this matchup, if you're facing that decision, I lean Jonnu.
I lean Herndon.
I lean Herndon and I lean someone else. I mean, this just isn't a great matchup.
That's not an answer. There is no C, Jason. It's A or
Would
B.
you start Lacoste from Denver over both these guys?
That is a perfect example, and I believe I would start Lacoste over both of these guys. This game, I don't expect there to be a lot of points. You know, the Titans technically on the season.
What is happening?
I don't know. The Titans are the most difficult matchup on the season against fantasy points given up against tight
Sounds
end.
like a French caricature over there.
And the Jets are top 5, so this just isn't a good tight end matchup.
All right. Can you start Isaiah Crowell or Elijah McGuire? Crowell.
Can you? Yes. Like you can put them in.
Isaiah Crowell. Listen to this. Since the 219-yard game, he's at 192 total yards in the next 6 games combined.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, he is.
He still had an okay game last week.
I mean, he will get you 4 to 5 points.
I do believe in Corey Davis now.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm choosing to stay in the flames with him. And I'm going to bestow some flames on Corey Davis because one of the games where he stunk, Mariota didn't finish it. It was Gabbert. In the last 3 games he finished 6 for 56, 7 for 125 and a touchdown, 4 for 96 and a touchdown. He is a Mariota favorite. So I'm choosing at home to believe in Corey Davis.
I like it.
I hope you're wrong.
Why is that?
Don't you have Corey Davis, Mike?
No.
Oh, then go Corey Davis. Oh,
wow.
That is some bias.
yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Just bias. Well, it's not analysis.
But
it's
do you
just,
believe he will?
look?
Do you think he's a strong play?
I don't think he's a strong play. No, I think he has huge upside, and I'm not saying to bench Corey Davis because he certainly can go, but a strong play to me is safe.
Let's put it to
And
test.
he is just so
Corey Davis,
not
Tyler Boyd
safe.
with Driscoll.
Is AJ Green in or out? If AJ Green is out, I would go Boyd.
Doug Baldwin or Corey Davis?
Corey Davis.
Julian Edelman or Corey
Julian
Davis?
Edelman.
Okay. Josh Gordon?
Josh Gordon. Yeah, I would go Josh Gordon.
It's his time. Let's talk about him. 6-4 and 1. The Vikings take on the 8-3 Patriots. Patriots are 5-point favorites at home.
Interesting.
49.5 point over under. I'm doubling down.
Andy's almost upset of the week.
If I make every matchup my almost upset, I will be 100% wrong.
Well, if you make them all, you'll get at least one right.
Here's the thing. This was my original almost upset. I think that 5-point line is too much. Mike,
That's
it's
why I said
funny.
interesting.
When I read it, you grimaced, and that's why they're my almost upset.
Yeah.
Look, the Vikings need this win. The Patriots have not been on cruise control of late. I think this game's going to be really, really close. I'm not projecting the Vikings to come into Foxborough and blow them out or anything of that nature, but their defense on the year, it's been, at least from a fantasy perspective, it's been getting pretty good. I mean, they're giving up the second fewest points to fantasy wideouts, the 5th fewest to running backs, 5th fewest to fantasy quarterbacks. That's not necessarily the matchup you want. Now, Brady and company, they're at home. Rob Gronkowski update. You need to give one every week, but he was removed from the injury report earlier in the week, and then he felt so sad and so disconnected from his normal routine that they added him back on Thursday with an ankle and back injury. Probably because he got upset he didn't see his name. He's just like, come on, man.
It's very selfish.
See my name in lights.
He's doing Tide Pod ads now. You see this?
I did, with the shaved head.
He's talked a lot about going into Hollywood, being the next Rock. He's going to need to improve the old acting chops.
Big time. He is not going to succeed there.
Wait, he said he's going to.
Oh, you never heard that?
No.
Oh, no. This was
I've
all the
not.
talk in his hypothetical retirement
yeah.
was he wants to go to Hollywood. He's been in at least one very D-level movie.
Wasn't he going to go to wrestling? He was offered a big contract to retire from
Everybody
the NFL and
wants
go to
it.
wrestling.
Well, you got to go wrestling first, then Hollywood.
Right.
You
If you're going to be The Rock.
The Rock. But yeah, not going to win any Emmys for the Tide Pods commercial. Let's put it that way.
All right.
What are the big storylines from this game? Let me ask and start here. What can owners expect from Dalvin Cook? Guess how many rushing touchdowns he has on the season?
None.
Yeah, I would be right. 0.
Yeah, I drafted him.
Oh.
Actually traded for him. But yes, he's been a huge disappointment. Very difficult to trust. The Patriots have only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns all year. The Patriots try to shut down your primary option, your primary weapon. They do a good job of taking your best player and taking him out. Now, are they going to scheme Dalvin Cook out, or are they going to try to scheme Adam Thielen out? I don't know, but I'm not super confident in Dalvin Cook.
Still an RB2 for you?
Yes, Dalvin Cook is my 21st ranked running back. So he's a back end RB2.
You meant to say 21th.
Yes, I did. He's my 21th ranked running back.
You're not fogging up anymore.
I think I've cooled down.
You've cooled down just a little bit.
I've cooled down.
You need to start running on LEDs. I think you're incandescent at the moment.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Look, Adam Thielen, he's in. Stephon Diggs, you got to monitor the injury situation, and if he's out, maybe my almost upset's a little less exciting, but if he's out, is there a beneficiary in the pass-catching game that you can count on?
Yes.
Is it Kyle?
Is it Dalvin Cook?
No, I actually think Kyle Rudolph has a good week. He was almost my start of the week, and I think if you're in a bad situation, you go Trey Burton, Trey Burton, Chris Herndon, all these bottom end guys. I think Kyle Rudolph is a better option. The Patriots have been torched against the tight end. They shut down your number one options. Kyle Rudolph last week all of a sudden was really involved. 7 receptions, 63 yards. I'm not saying that he's this monster must-start guy, but I think a lot of trends are pointing to where he's going to be necessary in this game. One of the things necessary? Is it necessary to start Kyle Rudolph? No, but I like the way it tastes. So
you forgot that it was sterile.
Yes, thank you. One of the things that I've been trying to monitor more is the big money spent on game lines and Vegas and sports books and things like that. This is one of the 3 games that has had the over from the opening line hammered. So big money players think this game will put up a lot of points. And so that's another factor of saying, okay, Kyle Rudolph, maybe he's a better play this week.
Let's talk briefly. By the way, I believe that the Patriots-Vikings game, there is projected rain in that game.
Right now we have it as the technical term of drizzle.
A drizzle. The 2-9 49ers take on the 6-5 Seahawks. Moving on, Jason.
Hold on. You got to talk through the running backs of the Patriots.
Well, I was going to do that during the 49ers-Seahawks matchup.
Okay.
No, not really, Mike.
That's a bold strategy.
Not really. Thanks for the reminder. James White, Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead. Look, you're playing Sony Michel, undoubtedly.
Do you have James White confidence?
Do I have James? I've got him as a fringe RB2, RB3 this week.
Okay.
So, yes, you can flex James White.
All right, Jay, how are you feeling about those
guys?
No,
I'm the same. James White is my 24th running back, so he is a back end. I've got him just behind Tariq Cohen and Deion Lewis, just ahead of LaShawn McCoy and Tevin Coleman right now. Sony Michel, to me, he's not an absolute have to start in every situation. He is higher. I would start him ahead of James White and ahead of those guys I just mentioned, but he's not, he's my running back 19.
I'd start him over Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
So, Mike, do I have permission to move on?
Sure. Well, I was just saying, the people are going to ask, what is the impact of Rex Burkhead?
All right, let me ask you this. Make it quick. Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman, if you had to pick one, you would start?
Gordon. I think Gordon with Xavier Rhodes dealing with his hamstring injury.
All right, the 2-9 49ers take on the 6-5 Seahawks. This is a 10-point line. The Seahawks 10-point favorites at home. 46-point over/under. Look, I've been mulling this game over.
I see what you did
It's
there.
not going to be pretty for San Francisco. The only 2 starting pieces for San Francisco's offense that I would even glance at. It's Matt Breida, who's been great. He is going to play. Alfred Morris, healthy scratch last week. Breida's the guy.
Yep.
And then George Kittle, because you start George Kittle.
Yeah.
So
we don't need to talk about Goodwin, Pettis, Garcon, Mullins.
No.
You don't want to talk about Pettis with the chance that both Goodwin and Garcon could be inactive again?
Not on a road matchup up in Seattle, 10-point situation. Mullins, no.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where Jason and I are. If you want to talk about him, you're 1/3 of this show.
Yeah, could it happen? Could he have a deep bomb? I love Pettis. Like I was high on him before the season, and I like his long-term outlooks. He could have a good game. He's a talented player, but
he's like Traquan Smith without Drew Brees right now.
Right now, in a bad matchup.
From a predictability standpoint. Russell Wilson, Chris Carson.
Oh, Chris Carson.
I'm a big Chris Carson fan this week.
How is Chris Carson not one of our starts of the week?
That's true.
I mean, 10-point home favorites against the Niners.
Because you're too busy picking Phillip Lindsay.
Oh, he's just going to dominate.
Do you want to double down? Do you want doubles?
Yeah, I want doubles. Chris Carson is now
Carson plus Lindsay.
Carson plus Lindsay, starts of the week.
There you go. Chris Carson's been an RB2 or better in 5 of his last 6 full games. The 10-point line gives you confidence. Chris Carson at home in this game. I love him. He is a RB 1-ish.
Whoa.
Right on the fringe. So I agree with you. Doug Baldwin keeps reiterating how good he feels.
Yeah, because he's not getting tackled, because he's not getting the ball.
I think he's talking to Russell Wilson when he's saying those things.
I feel great, Russ.
Russ, I tried to tell you I'm healthy.
Now, here is the math equation that is not added up for Doug Baldwin. And you guys talked about Russell Wilson being a good second-half guy. Now, he's had some really good games lately. But the difference is the second half has not involved Doug Baldwin in the capacity that you had seen in years past, because the passing volume, the total attempts per game, is down at the basement along with Deshaun Watson. And the thing is, he has David Moore. He has another weapon. He has Tyler Lockett. So I think it's just a matter of, as healthy as he says he is, it's just not a good situation for him right now. Now, he has 5+ catches in 3 straight games. That's fine. You're okay with it. Is he a wide receiver 2 for you this week? Everybody wants to know if Baldwin has the ability to go.
Of course.
He hears all this hot Lockett talk,
he
wants to be hot himself.
I will start Doug Baldwin over Dante Pettis.
All right,
yes,
sir.
I would as well.
That was somehow a very insulting statement to Doug Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin is a startable option. He is behind Tyler Lockett pretty significantly in my rankings, and he's a wide receiver 3, which puts him in starting consideration. You know, if you're considering, okay, Doug Baldwin or Allen Robinson, I probably lean Doug Baldwin based on the matchup, the fact that the quarterback is the starting quarterback. But that's around the tier that I see Doug Baldwin in.
I'm cool with that. The 8-3 Chargers take on the 7-3-1 Steelers, a 51.5-point over-under. This game lines up to be a very interesting fantasy matchup.
I am so unbelievably fascinated to see what Phillip Rivers can or cannot do in this game. This is
Agreed.
Like coming into this week, nothing has my curiosity more, because the Steelers have just been so locked down against wide receivers and quarterbacks. And
do you sit him? Do you sit him on the road in this game? He's right on the fringe for us as a consensus QB,
so
13.
Look, my stats, my metrics, my algorithms, they hate Phillip Rivers this week. I mean, they just you're not going to start him.
It's not just dislike, it's hatred.
Yeah, I mean, he's down outside, the top 15 quarterbacks, so you're not going to start him. But he's Phillip Rivers, and he's been
amazing.
He had one incompletion last week.
I mean, he's been unbelievable. So this is where I'm struggling with where to put Phillip Rivers in my rankings, because when I see him down, outside the top 15, I go, that's wrong. So it's incorrect. But with Melvin Gordon out, does that just hurt the whole offense?
It does hurt the whole offense.
Or does that make Phillip Rivers have to, throw more?
Look, one of his touchdowns last week was a pass to Melvin Gordon. And it's a something-got-to-give game, like you're saying. The Steelers haven't allowed a QB1 performance since Week 4. That's why the algorithm doesn't like him. It's been a while since Week 4. He's got multiple touchdowns in every game this year. If he has multiple touchdowns, he's going to outperform that algorithm. So that's the problem. Now, Pittsburgh coming off a loss, Pittsburgh being at home, Pittsburgh doing what they've done against the quarterback, I think that this is going to be a game that they try to hand the ball to James Conner. They try to keep Phillip Rivers off the field, and without Melvin Gordon, I lean the direction of him being outside the top 12. I really do.
I agree. Also, the fact that Tyrell Williams has been banged up. He played last week, wink, wink. I mean, he was out there doing nothing. He's still limited, and if you recall, when Melvin Gordon was a surprise miss in the game in London, boom, Tyrell Williams was a huge lift for that offense. Not that Mike Williams can't fill in for Tyrell, but when you're just down pieces like that, it's going to be a lot harder for Rivers. So I'm with you that he should be outside the top 12.
So I haven't.
Does that hurt
seen...
Keenan then too?
Yes.
I mean, that perception. Do you downgrade your top end anticipation for Keenan Allen? I mean, I've got him down at right on the fringe as well.
Yeah, it does. I worry that he's going to have a down game. Hey, Brooks and Baby Josh, can one of you effort T.J. Watt's health? Was he practicing? I know he went out with an injury,
right.
And so that's been a huge curiosity for me, because part of the reason that the Steelers have been shutting down quarterbacks is their pass rush has been great. If T.J. Watt is unable to go, then I'm curious. I Googled it and I found, he returned to practice Wednesday, and then I looked deeper and it was before the third preseason game. So that was bad.
Yeah, I believe he came back in the game.
He did.
Yeah, he did come back in the game. So I think he's expected to be out there. Other question marks from this game: do you start red zone monster Mike Williams? I say no on the road in this one. It's all dependent on your options, but James Conner, listen to this. Less than 17 touches in 3 consecutive games. Mike, you're the highest on him at RB5. You like James Conner.
Yeah, I like the fact that the game is at home, and the Chargers can be beat by running backs. So I think that it's a James Conner game.
Are you confident in Big Ben? 300-plus passing yards in 4 of the last 5 games.
Confident as in terms of he's a lower-end quarterback one, but I don't see huge things for him this week.
You don't?
No.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I think Big Ben's going to have a pretty darn good week. Juju moving to the outside, 17 targets last week. Antonio Brown, you just can't contain those guys.
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, this is
where do you have him, Mike? Because I have Big Ben at number 6 this week.
8.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've got him right in the middle, 7. So 6, 7, 8.
But I mean, it's not that he's a bad play.
Just ceiling
at a guy at 8. I'm not. I don't have a top 3 outcome for him.
All right. You starting Vance McDonald or Jesse James?
I want to do the Vance dance every single week. You know me, but leaving the game last week with the hip injury, we'll see.
Here's a good example of I would start Kyle Rudolph over Vance or Jesse James.
Sure, I don't. That doesn't bother me.
Redskins 6-5 take on the 5-6 Eagles on Monday Night Football. Eagles are 6.5-point home favorites in this game, a 45-point over/under. They saved their season with the comeback last week over the Giants. It's interesting because if the Eagles win this, right, if it goes according to plan, Vegas-wise, they'll both be 6-6. Dallas will be what, 7-5? So that division tightening up. What are the big storylines for you? I mean, can you start Carson Wentz after the last 2 weeks of poop at home where Washington has allowed – look, Washington's allowed a QB1 in 6 of the last 9 games.
Yes.
But, man, Jason, you got to be hurting.
We were having this discussion. I'll just jump in.
Yeah.
That one of our friends was asking us, do I play – I can't remember the other quarterback or Carson Wentz. And Jason is visceral with his, no, you play the other quarterback. And I have not been personally wronged by Carson Wentz. I don't have him anywhere. And so my answer is I would go back. I would go back to Carson Wentz because I think that the process and logic says that Carson Wentz he'll return to form. The matchup is not awful, like you said, Washington allowing a quarterback 1 in 6 of 9 games. I would play Wentz. I mean, he's lower in the rankings right now, but I still think I would play him.
Yeah.
So, Jason, rebuttal.
Yeah. Rebuttal is Carson Wentz is look, he's still a good quarterback. You know, the opportunity for his game to go differently last week was there. They decided to rush the touchdown in when they were nearby. I mean, he didn't play poorly. But there's 2 weeks in a row where you have a major letdown. The matchup is middle of the pack. This is one of those games where, again, bettors were betting the over. This surprised me because you think of these two teams as good defensive teams and division.
Nope.
But the Eagles' defense has been trash and wrecked by injury.
Redskins on the road.
Yeah, Washington on the road. I think this game could have some sneaky production to it. And so, yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz
or Phillip Rivers.
I have Phillip Rivers a spot ahead of Carson Wentz right now in my lineup. And so based on what I was just talking about on Carson Wentz, that means I would prefer to not play – or on Phillip Rivers, I would prefer to not play Carson Wentz.
More big questions from the game. Alshon Jeffrey, since Golden Tate joined the roster, Jeffrey has only 16 targets in the last 3 games. Where's Jeffrey for you this week?
Alshon Jeffrey, let me pull it up.
Got him at 24 myself.
That's right where I have him as well. It's also a coincidence that the last 3 games the Eagles have been slowing things like it's slowed down for the team. It's not running on all gears.
I don't know.
They need to get rid of Golden Tate.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they need to target their number 1 wide receiver a little bit more.
Would you rather flex Josh Adams or Alshon Jeffrey? Josh Adams, his snaps growing the last 4 weeks, 29%, 31, 55.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then 62%.
I would definitely lean Josh Adams. The fact that his workload has increased.
22 carries last week.
22 carries last week. They're at home. I would go with the volume that is known over Alshon.
Mike, your start of the week was Rule 86 himself.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah.
Third most passing routes last week.
Yeah, at the tight end position, 8.6 targets per game since week 8. Colt McCoy has resurrected him for fantasy purposes.
He was just starting to get going with Alex Smith too. You got. I mean, I just mean it speaks more to. Yes, Colt McCoy resurrected him, but I think he was also getting a little healthier.
Yeah, it takes time for the floppy toes to start solidifying,
regrow
again.
bones again.
I also I'm going to throw a name out there that sounds gross, but I think Josh Doxson could have a pretty good week. 6 for 66 last week with Colt McCoy. The Philadelphia Eagles secondary is gone. I would not be surprised if Josh Doxson got it together, had a nice fantasy output this week.
Right now, Jason, I just want to confirm this for the Footclan. You believe that Josh Doxson is a good player. Are you trying to goat me into playing him against you in our dynasty match?
Who are your other options?
I'm not going to tell
you.
I thought this might be a con.
No, this is not a con.
Right.
I do think Josh Doxson could be a good play this week.
You could argue he had his best game as a pro last week, even though he didn't have the touchdown, just because of his involvement.
Yes.
It was different.
And it was with a new quarterback. If that quarterback is actually using him as his number 1 wide receiver target against a team who is near dead last against the wide receiver, it could work out.
We got to jump into Daily Dose. I need a Matt Bryant update from Jason Moore.
Oh, yeah, Matt Bryant is doing great from what I can tell. He's been resting.
Now he's your boom boom super locked and loaded.
Oh, so totally ironclad, man.
Now, other news.
He
hasn't practiced in 2 days. He's very, very, very questionable for the game.
Yeah, like I said, he's resting up. He's got a big game, a lot of boom boom kicks. Here's what I would do if I was a Matt Bryant owner. Okay? I'd probably grab someone else. I mean, he's going to be great. He's going to do excellent, but definitely grab another kicker just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Daily Dose, brought to you by Draft.
All right, it's another episode edition of the Daily Dose. Episode edition. That's what
nice.
that's what we call them now. Jason, he's defogged.
Yeah.
What do they call that in the car?
I actually did defogged?
Defrost?
Defrost.
There you go.
He's defrosted.
I've defrosted.
Well,
I did
when
the math.
things are frosted and fogged, it's 2 very different elements of weather
you
at
have
play.
fog on the inside because of the cold on the outside.
It took an
Right?
hour and
Yes, that does happen.
It took an hour and 45 minutes from the end of my
It's
workout
because of your heat mixing with the cold of the outside.
until I was able to cool down. So 1 hour and 45 minutes post-workout.
Is that a new record?
I'm a human. No, that's pretty normal. That's just
All right.
that's just par for the course.
So for this Daily Dose, we are limiting the matchups. We're not going with all of them. We're going with the afternoon and the possible primetime games. And, Andy fell right into the trap that I was hoping you would fall into.
I took Pat Mahomes. What a trap it is.
What an idiot.
When you fall into that trap,
37.
down at the bottom, there's like, a 3-course meal and a bed. Like you fall in that trap, it's like paradise.
Okay, so
To me, I was just with the trap. There's great quarterbacks available. Patrick Mahomes is the clear number one option, but
So who did you go with then, Mike, after he took Mahomes?
I took Kareem Hunt.
Okay, so here's what's fun. After he took Mahomes,
you fell into my trap.
And Mike took Kareem Hunt, I thought, I'm going to take Tyreek Hill. And you know what? Let's make this crazy interesting. I took Travis Kelce.
You score, I score.
So Andy's not going to win, as we have all of his receiving options.
No, all your receiving options are nullified. I took James Conner and Matt Breida after. It looks like Hitman took Thielen.
I did,
and then I took Breida and Conner back to back in these primetime games.
Yeah, Thielen. Look, everything points to Thielen having a monster game. The New England Patriots, it's tough. It's tough sledding for them against slot wide receivers these days. And the only hesitance with him is the fact that we talked about it. Uncle Bill is pretty good at figuring out how to shut your number one option down. I just don't know if you can shut down Adam Thielen.
All right, Jason, you
I was done with my wide receiver / tight end, so now I've got to decide between running backs or quarterback, and I have my start of the week in Chris Carson back on my roster, and I'm going to put Josh Adams out there at home with the 22 carries last week, so my running backs are full.
Mike also took Eckler. Before you took those two picks, I went ahead with Mike took Antonio Brown, and then I took Juju and Josh Gordon as my wideouts. Mike, you're on the clock.
Yeah, and man, what a world we live in where we're doing this draft with limited games, and Andy and I grab Antonio Brown and Juju in the 4th round. I finished up my team with Kirk Cousins, so I have that Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen stack. So my team is Cousins, Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler, Adam Thielen, and Antonio Brown.
I grabbed my start of the week at quarterback as well, Russell Wilson stacking with Chris Carson, Josh Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. So I got 2 Seahawks and 2 Chiefs.
Interesting.
Pat Mahomes, Matt Breida, James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster, and then I went Josh Gordon.
All right.
For a big game there with Josh Gordon versus taking the chance with Stephon Diggs, the potential he could miss the game.
Yep.
We also want to remind you, by the way, that was Daily Dose, draft.com/ballers to play along. We want to remind you about Omaha Steaks this holiday season. You should send the gift of Omaha Steaks. You go to omahasteaks.com. Enter the code FANTASY in the search bar. Now, people miss this. They send us a message. They don't know how to get it. You enter the word fantasy in the search bar, and then you click the family gift package, and you get 74% off.
But I'm saying you put fantasy in the search bar and let it drop down.
Yeah, and then you click it.
Yep.
And then you get hand-cut sirloin steaks, pork chops, kielbasa sausages, burgers, so much more. My fridge is stocked. Go to omahasteaks.com, type fantasy in the search bar, add the family gift package to your cart. Good luck this weekend, everybody, except for Brooks.
Absolutely, Footclan. I'll see you on Sunday morning for the live stream. Good luck this weekend. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.